Hello backpackers, this is Juan from Juan Backpacks. I'm here today to do an in-depth review of in-depth review / comparison of the Katadyn BeFree versus the Platypus Quickdraw. I've got a lot of experience with these two filters now in the field, probably about 300 plus miles on each of them as I'm backpacking, and so that's multiple nights. A bunch of water filtering. I didn't, track the number of liters, but obviously you're filtering water when you're out there basically every day. And so I've got some observations to make about several categories of these, several categories that I reviewed these two water filters on. So the categories are going to be weight. Obviously that's a pretty easy one to determine. Form factor, how big does it, or how small does it pack down? In the field cleaning, and ease of cleaning in the field, out of box flow rate, long-term flow rate, what's the flow rate like long-term on each of these, build quality, how do they hold up in the field in constant use. And then the last is the ease of use, which is really important to me. It's how fast you can deploy your water filter, how quickly you can filter water, put it away and get on your way again if you're through hiking. And so these are the categories that were important to me that I assessed these two water filters on and compared them on. So I'm going to give you my impressions of each one of those categories. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you which one I prefer and kind of some general thoughts about these water filters and what my use will be of them moving forward. So let's look at the weight. Really easy. I put both of these on my scale. The Katadyn BeFree comes in at 2.5 ounces and the Platypus all in with the bag that it comes with when you buy it, and the water filter itself all in is 4.2 ounces on my scale. So it's pretty easy to see that the BeFree is the lightest of the two options. Form factor. Form factor to me is really important because I want the smallest, lightest gear that I can get. I use a 40-liter pack most of the time when I'm backpacking, and so I like my form factor. How small things pack down is really important to me because I can fit that gear nicely into my smaller packs. Form factor, you look at the BeFree here, got some air in it, but when you squish out the air and you really crunch this thing up, it gets down to about the size of my fist, with a little bit hanging out. So that's the BeFree. This is the Platypus, and pretty much this is the cylinder. So I typically roll it up here like this and squish out the air, unscrew the cap to the water bag that it comes with, and then I usually throw a little rubber band to keep everything tight, like a little black rubber band here. And so you can see the form factor is spilling out over my fist. It's definitely bigger and it's just a little bit harder to fit in your pack. And I find that that's kind of a bummer for me because I like to slip my water filter down in next to my two water bottles in my bag on the side of my pack. And so I love this smaller form factor of the BeFree, just slightly smaller form factor, different shape, but it fits into my pack a little bit nicer. So form factor goes to BeFree. So two categories so far for the BeFree. In the field cleaning, so the BeFree in the field cleaning, you can see here it's got exposed, the water filters are exposed, but they're inside this cage here. So when you clean the BeFree, what you're supposed to do, and there's detailed instructions that they give you on their website and then the instructions you get with it, but you put some clean water in here, or like sometimes I just put like dirty water in here because it's my dirty water bag. You put clean water in here. That's probably the best thing to do. You can screw this shut and then you just shake it. And it tells you to shake it like, I don't know, 30 seconds or something like that. You have to read the instructions. You shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it around, and then that's supposed to clean out the water filter. And so you take this out, dump the water out, and then you go back to filtering. That in the field cleaning like that does bring back the flow rate, and so it does work. But it doesn't work as well when it really gets dirty. And sometimes you really have to work at it to get back to your kind of, to the flow rate that you're comfortable with and that the BeFree is capable of. So that's in the field cleaning. Really simple, but not quite as effective as back flushing. That's where the Platypus comes in. With the Platypus, you can take the cap. This is the inflow cap, the dirty water side. The dirty water goes in here. This is the outflow, the clean water side. You can take a water bottle, like a 1 liter smart water bottle with clean water in it. You can seat it against this outflow and back flush the clean water back through here. Way more effective. You can see the cloudy water coming out the other end. It's just a better way to clean out a filter and regain some of that flow rate that you are enjoying. You can also, so that's the better, I think, option is to back flush. You can also clean this filter the same way with that shake method. You can fill up the dirty water bag with some clean water, and then you can put this on here, shake, 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 and clean the water filter that way. So you can do it that way. You can do both ways. And one, you can use the shake method if it's just like a little bit, clogged. And then if it really gets clogged up, you can back flush it. So I like that ability to do the back flushing with the platypus in the field so easily like that. And so the nod for back flushing in the field really goes to the platypus. So platypus is going to win that category. So we got 2 here and 1 here so far. Out of box flow rate. The out of box flow rate, I didn't do like a scientific method of timing and liters and all that stuff, like timing how long it took to do a liter of water. They both have their claims, but honestly, it's pretty clear out of the box. BeFree is way fast. Well, I don't say way faster, but it's significantly faster than the platypus out of the box from my estimation. This is just a faster flow rate out of the box, okay? So out of the box, both are fast. Don't get me wrong, platypus is very fast, but this is definitely faster out of the box. Now, that's out of box. So BeFree wins out of box. So far, BeFree has 3 categories. Quickdraw has 1 category. Let's go on to the long-term flow rate. This is kind of the important one, I think. Long-term flow rate in the field. The BeFree is definitely faster, but continued use, it starts to slow down. And using the shake method to clean out the filter just never regains that really, really nice, so fast flow rate that you saw with this thing out of the box. So in my experience with this over the John Muir Trail, I used this and a bunch of other hikes. It was really fast in the beginning. It lost some of its flow rate. It came back and it was still faster than a lot of other water filters on the market out there, but it never regained its original flow rate no matter what I did. It just doesn't seem to happen. And so little disappointing, but long term, it just doesn't hold the flow rate. And the flow rate you get out of it long term is really good. It can really slow down though. It can really slow down. You clean it and it comes back, but then it gets dirty again, it goes down again. So you got to keep messing around with it. And so it's still fast though. It's still faster than most of the other water filters on the market, like this. But again, it just never regained its original flow. The platypus flow rate long term is so far really good. I've used this one I'm probably approaching 300 miles using this filter, and the flow rate is definitely able to come back a lot easier and maintained with the platypus. I haven't noticed a significant loss of flow rate from where it started. And what happens over time is that the platypus ends up being faster than my BeFree over time because I can flush this platypus a lot better. It just regains its kind of almost original flow rate pretty easily. And so over time, what I found is that if I take these 2 and use them in the field, and again, I didn't do totally scientifically, but my experience has been the platypus ends up being faster than the BeFree with repeated use. I hope that makes sense. So long-term flow rate goes to the Quickdraw. So we got Quickdraw long-term flow rate in the cleaning in the field. So there's 2 for the Quickdraw, and we've got 3 so far for the BeFree, 3 categories. let's go to build quality. Basically how well it's going to hold up in the field and any problems I had with either one of these two water filters. So there's not really any moving parts on this water filter. I've never had any problems with the fibers breaking. I've had 2 of these now. And so there's only the cap is the only real moving part, and it screws on here. So it's super simple. And quite honestly, no problems whatsoever with the mechanical pieces on this, and also the bag as well. So the bag, this is the original bag. This BeFree is like 3 years old, almost 3 years old now. And I've never punctured the bag. This is the original bag it came with. Perfectly happy, and it's not like I babied the bag or anything like that. So this definitely is the bag's holding up. No mechanical problems with the filter itself. Now the platypus, the filter itself, it's got a lot of moving parts here. We got a cap here. I mean, it's made of pretty durable rubber. It's got another cap at the bottom in the dirty water side where the dirty water comes in. And so one of the problems that I had with this though, and I'm not sure you, but I'll see it on the video. Let me try to get it to focus there. It's not really focusing. Right here, this is starting to weaken. One of the threads, or actually both sides of the threads here, where thread starts to thread on to the dirty water bag or thread into the cap that comes with it. So the problem here is it's starting to stress. I can see that the threading is stressing and it's going to break. I mean, it's bent right now, and again, I haven't used it a ton. I've used it a lot, but not. It should last longer than that. And this started happening in the first less than 100 miles of using this, as a matter of fact. So I'm a little concerned about that. I think it's going to eventually break. It's going to stress to the point. Right now I can see the plastic stressed. The thread is going to break, and then I'm afraid it's not going to thread up with the dirty water bag, and that could be a problem because it's not going to make a seal, or I'm not going to be able to get the cap back on to seal it up so I won't get water in my gear, or in the wintertime if I'm sleeping with it or whatever, it's not going to get water around. So, or it's going to get water around on me because it's going to leak if it doesn't seal up properly. I did email the company about this, and quite honestly, it's been probably a little bit over a month, and I still haven't gotten an email response, even though I asked for an email response about this. I'm hoping that they are fixing this in other iterations, doing something about it. I've seen other folks post about this stressing and breaking of the threads on the platypus. I don't believe that I'm doing anything that is a user error thing. I mean, it's a thread, for gosh sakes. All you got to do is put it on there. I press it on to try to get it past those threads, so I'm not stressing. I'm just kind of cranking it on there and doing everything I can to kind of bypass that stress. And it's still, the plastic's still wearing away there, and I can still see stress points on that plastic. So that is a concern as far as the build quality and the design of the platypus Quickdraw. I'm hoping again that they fix this in other iterations. Definitely concerned though for me, because if that breaks and I can't make a seal, then it's going to be a problem. So the bag itself, I don't see any issues with the bag. I've used it a lot. I have confidence in it. It's not leaking. The seal around the outside of the bag seems to be of high quality. The bag seems to be thick enough where it's not going to be punctured easily, and so I haven't had any problems whatsoever with the dirty water bag on the Quickdraw filter. All that being said, I think that the build quality mechanical piece thing really has to go to the BeFree, because it's just got less moving parts really. Now, ease of use in the field is the last category, and ease of use in the field means that how quickly can I deploy the water filter, filter my water, and get back on the way. So the BeFree is pretty easy. You open this up, you dip your water, you put this here, you got the way I filter water, I filter it into clean water bottles, and I use this always as my dirty water bottle. I don't drink out of this, I just filter with this, and I'll filter into a couple, liter bottles or whatever I need, clean water, and the amount of clean water I need. and I'll go ahead and filter it in there, and that's pretty quick. It's about as quick as it gets. I mean, good grief, that's all you have to do. Now, with the Platypus Quickdraw, when I come to a water source, I have to take out this, obviously, take out both of these. I have to take off this cap that's the dirt where the dirty water goes in, right? And then I have to take this cap, and I would recommend taking this cap with you, because if you need extra dirty water to just take with you, if you're going to dry camp someplace, you can use this to store dirty water in and then filter it later at camp. So I have to take this off, put this on, get water, and I love this handle right here. You can just dip the water so easy. It's great design, the water bag. And then I put this on. You can see the threads are, there we go. So I put this on here, open up the cap, start to filter. Pretty easy. Now the problem here is I do have to tinker a little bit more with stuff, right? It's not just like, oh, unscrew. But I also have these two pieces here. These two pieces are, one's for the dirty water side, one's for to cover up the clean, or I'm sorry, one's for the dirty water side, and one's for the bag. And so I have to put these someplace. Got to put them in my pocket, set them down along the creek or the water source, and hope that I don't drop them in the water and they float away. I had that fear when I was, in the Sierra and we were filtering water at the creeks and so forth. And so you really have to keep track of these, and that's one of the things I don't like about it, because I got to throw it in my pocket or set it aside, remember to put it all back together again. It just takes a little bit more thought process. And I know that sounds silly because it is pretty simple, but the easier things are, the less steps they have, the more I like them. And so for that reason, I'm going to rate ease of use to deploy and filter water. It goes to the BeFree on this one. So those are the categories that I had. Those are the categories that I rated on. Now, how did I view these two water filters overall, and which one I really like? So first, let me make some general comments. I really like the Katadyn BeFree. In all things being equal, it's my favorite water filter. I wish that they could fix that problem of, being able to get back a lot more of that initial flow rate more easily. If they could somehow solve that problem, I think that this would be a no-brainer for me. And this would be the water filter that I carry with me based on how I use water and how I filter water and so forth. I just like things quick and easy. This one, the Platypus Quickdraw is great, but it's got more moving parts. It's heavier, bigger form factor, all that stuff. And so because of those things, I don't really prefer this one. But probably if I was going to go into areas where the water was dirtier, murkier, and I knew that going ahead of time, which a lot of times if you've done your research, you kind of know what the water sources are like, I'd probably be more inclined to take this water filter with me than the BeFree, because I could maintain my flow rate, and in case it really got clogged up, I'd have a way of really back flushing it in the field a lot better. So I really like the idea of back flushing this. I'm not crazy about all the moving parts and the pieces that go with this. I'd probably use this in winter when I'd have to sleep with my water filter to keep it from freezing and ruining the fibers in it. And so that's one of the reasons I got this in the winter last year, heading in the winter last year. So I really like that idea. So for now, what I would say is probably if I was backpacking in the Sierra or someplace where I knew the water, I'd use this one. And then if I was going someplace where it was really muddy, or in the winter time where I knew I wanted to keep my water filter in the sleeping bag with me, I could do this because everything seals up really nice and just throw it in there. And so that's probably going to be my uses moving forward. I think that I will probably have both of these on hand, and with my preference being the BeFree, all things being equal. But with certain situations that I mentioned, I'd be using the Platypus Quickdraw. So those are my assessments. Those are how I plan to use these water filters moving forward. If you have any comments or any experience that's contrary to my experience or just more to add, certainly go ahead and post up comments below. Until next time, get out there and do some backpacking, do some hiking, and I will see you on my next video.